Hey guys, Matt Mollohan Fishing here. Let's go fish. This time the ass whooping man. Oh, there's one. Positive people, positive situations, positive things. What happens when you're positive?
Okay, when you're ready.
Like right now?
Right now.
I can do it like start right this second.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
It's rolling?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hey guys, I want to do a quick little recap of the first FLW Costa on Lake Okeechobee. Obviously, it was not the finish I was expecting or the finish I wanted. Still having some day two demons that I haven't been able to overcome. All of it's really in between my ears. I had more bites on day two than I actually did on day one. I just couldn't land a lot of fish and lost several, lost three for sure. That would have easily got me in the cut, and execution was poor. My head wasn't in it, and after I lost, the first couple of fish, I just mentally checked out, got frustrated, and just made a bunch of critical failures that day. Plain and simple. I haven't been able to overcome these mental games that I play with myself, I guess, which is a huge part of fishing. It's probably 90% of fishing. I was around fish. I knew I was around fish. I, had 40 more boats in my area the second day than I did the first day, for obvious reasons. There was a few of us in there that caught them, and so a lot more boats showed up. It was probably some of the cleanest water on the whole lake, and one of the only places on the lake that had hydrilla. And it was something that I had found in practice, and and wasn't a ton of fish in there at the time, but I got some bites. There was some buck bass showing up, and I kind of figured that, it was, the only area that I thought that I could go in there and catch a decent limit and give myself a shot at it, getting a good check and getting out of there. Really, I could have done a lot better than just getting a check. After practice, it was so tough down there. The bite was just, it was hard to get a bite. I did a lot of practice in canals, had a lot of bites in the canals, and just didn't want to settle in on the canal because there were so many boats in the canals. Wanted an area where I could move around a little bit. Those canals got tight. But what I was doing in practice is I was getting a lot of bites. I was doing a few different things in the canals. I was throwing a greenfish tackle G-flat crankbait and foiled herring, same thing I do here at home on Lake Murray this time of year. They were eating that crankbait really, really well. And I was throwing that on 12-pound high seas, 100% fluorocarbon, Lew's Tournament MB 5/6-1 reel, and a Arc Rods crankbait series 7-foot medium heavy rod. I got several bites in practice on that crankbait, and they seemed to like that foiled herring, that G flat down there for sure. Another one I was getting a lot of bites on in the canals was greenfish tackle ballistic spinnerbait. This one, I went with a double willow, one red Colorado blade, one gold Colorado blade, and I just put a Big Bite Baits grub trailer on the back of it. That's what I like to throw in the back of my spinnerbaits, and I was getting several bites. It's white and chartreuse color, just an awesome spinnerbait from Greenfish Tackle. Puts off a ton of vibration. There's something about that red that just, man, this made those fish go crazy. And I was getting a lot of bites in practice in those canals on that spinnerbait as well, and I put that on the tournament, Lew's Tournament MB 6/8-1 with 15-pound 100% high seas fluorocarbon and an Arc Rods 610 medium heavy fast action rod from Arc Rods. So that's what I was throwing the spinnerbait on. And another deal I was getting bit on in the canal was a greenfish tackle creeper head with just a zoom speed crawl on the back of it. I was dipping the tails in a little bit of orange dye, and they seemed to really like that as well. Just a ton of rock in there, and they were just sitting up on that rock, and they'd move up and down in those canals. And when they'd move up on some of those little points and stuff, that creeper head, I caught several in practice on that, and I had that paired up on a Team Lew's Magnesium 7/5-1 reel with 15-pound 100% high seas fluorocarbon and an Arc Rod 7.3 medium heavy Invoker series rod. The spinnerbait rod is a Lancer series, and guys, this Lancer series is a $90 retail rod from Arc Rods. It's as good as any $150 rod out there. I use several of them. This is their spinnerbait rod. I mean, just a great series of rod. If you're looking to, I talked about the Lewis Tournament MB, fishing on a budget, with the quality you can get out of that reel for every application. Well, the Lancer series from Arc Rods is the same deal. You can get any application you need. It's a $90 retail rod. You can't go wrong. You got to check out Arc Rods. They got every rod for every application, all the way from 90 to 200 bucks. One other deal that I was catching fish on was a greenfish tackle shaky head. I was throwing that on actually 10-pound high seas 100% fluorocarbon on a Team Lewis spinning reel and an Arc 7-1 medium spinnerbait rod or spinning rod. And I was putting a Zoom Magnum trick worm on there and dipping tail and chartreuse, and that was also catching some fish. Can't ever go wrong with a greenfish tackle crawball shaky head. As far as what I was catching those fish on in my area, like I said, I bailed on the canal because I just knew there was going to be so many boats, and the area that I had found down in South Bay, had the cleanest water I had seen. Had one of the only places I could find hydrilla, any type of grass, and there was fish moving in. I got some bites in there in practice, and it's just kind of where I went on. Like I said, to go in there and catch a limit, so I could get out of there hopefully with a check and move on to Chickamauga with how tough everything was down there. And that first day of the tournament, what I was catching my fish on in the hydrilla was a greenfish tackle swim jig in the light hitch color, just an awesome. Swim jig. Greenfish makes the best jigs on the market, period. And I was pairing that up with a Biz Baits white cutter craw as a trailer. Got several bites on that. I actually caught one of my better fish on that the first day. 3.5 pounder I caught on that swim jig. I was throwing around a Biz Baits green pumpkin red sassy stick. I was throwing that on another Arc rod, spinning rod, with 8-pound 100% high seas fluorocarbon. I was wacky rigging this deal, throwing it in the hydrilla when the bite got tough, and there was a ton of pressure in there, and caught several fish on this. A lot of little ones, never did catch a big one, but I did catch several fish on this Biz Bait sassy stick wacky rigged. The other thing that I caught my fish back there on, especially the first day when I had over 12 pounds, I was sitting in 15th place. I found some areas that kind of had some it was almost flipping trash, really. And I was using an Arc rod or an Arc series tungsten weight of 1 ounce. And this has the insert in it. Just again, no chip. It's a black matte Arc tungsten 1 ounce sinker that they've just introduced. They've got every piece of tungsten that you can imagine, anything from flipping weights to pitching weights, punching weights, drop shot weights, you name it, they've got it. These don't chip, they don't wear. I used the same piece of tungsten the entire time I was down there. These are just quality. This is just quality tungsten, plain and simple. And I had used a 1 ounce piece of tungsten on that Arc Rod 711 extra heavy flipping stick. I used a Lewis 7.5-to-1 magnesium reel on there, and used a VMC 5/0 heavy duty flipping hook, and had it paired up with that, and used the VMC bobber stock in high seas 65-pound Grand Slam braid. So I was just going in there flipping the trash, and ended up catching 3 at a one spot. 3 fish that I weighed, 3 of my best fish. So that's how I was catching them, down there in the tournament. Caught them a lot of different ways in practice, and just settled in on that area during the tournament. And like I said, the second day, I was putting a Biz Baits Bug black and blue laminate on that flipping deal. That's what they were eating, and I'd flip it right in that trash. As soon as I'd pull it up one time, man, they'd snatch it right back, and I'd snatch them out of there. So, Okeechobee was a lot of fun. It was a cool experience. First time I'd ever been there, and enjoyed it down there. I just got a lot of work to do in the mental game, and being able to overcome lost fish and issues on the water. I'm such a competitive guy. I hate to lose. I hate to lose more than I like to win. you know, and I got to overcome this mental weakness that I got going on, because that's all that it is. Because if I had buckled down and just, you know, caught my little 8 pounds, I probably would have finished in the top, you know, 30 or so and gotten a good check and could have walked out of there. But I was so, you know, hell bent on trying to get in that top 10 and make that cut, and knew I was around those fish. And then when I lost those three, was so frustrated and just completely checked out. And yeah, just critical failure on my part. It was mentally weak. I was being a word that I'm not going to say right now on this video, because I don't want to offend anybody. So, but that's what I was being. I was being yeah. So anyway, guys, those are some of the things that I use. All great products. Check out Arc Rods. Check out Greenfish Tackles line of baits. They just actually came out with the G-Fat square bill, which I'm excited to start using as well. Check out Biz Baits. They got some awesome soft plastics. And, you know, of course, check out the Arc Tungsten while you're looking at the rods, and BMC hooks. You can't go wrong with any of those products, and we'll see you next time.